Hello, everyone. Our last session was on the exchange within the Stellar system. Now we'll discuss the Stellar operations in detail. Transactions are basically a collection of operations. Each operation is a command that modifies the ledger. Operations are executed from the source account specified in the transaction, unless there is an override defined for the operation. If you want to create an account on Stellar, then you have to perform the create an account operation from source account, and this will create a new account on the Stellar network. Each operation falls under a specific threshold category of low, medium, or high. Thresholds define the level of privilege an operation needs to succeed. There are just two possibilities in a transaction lifecycle when operations can fail. The first possibility is when a transaction is submitted to the Stellar network. The node to which the transaction is submitted validates the operation in the validity check. Then the node performs some checks to ensure that the transaction is formed properly before including it in its transaction set and forwarding the transaction to the rest of the Stellar network. The validity check only looks at the state of the source account. It ensures that the outer transaction has enough signatures for the source account of the operation to meet the threshold for that operation, and operation-specific validity checks pass. These checks are the ones that will stay true regardless of the ledger state. For example, are the parameters within the expected bounds? Checks that depend on ledger state don't happen until apply time. For example, a send operation won't check if you have enough balance to send until apply time. Once a transaction passes the first validity check, it is propagated to the Stellar network and eventually included in a transaction set. As part of a transaction set, the transaction is attached with the ledger. At that point, a fee is taken from the source account. Operations are attempted in the order they occur in the transaction. If any operation fails, the whole transaction fails, and the effects of previous operations are rolled back. For each operation, there is a matching result type. In the case of success, this result allows users to gather information about the effects of the operation, whereas in case of failure, it allows users to learn more about the error. Typically, transactions only involve operations on a single account. For example, if account A wanted to send some lumens to account B, only account A needs to authorize the transaction. However, it is possible to compose a transaction that includes operations on multiple accounts. In this case, to authorize the operations, the transaction envelope must include signatures of every account in question. For example, you can make a transaction where accounts A and B both send to account C. This transaction would need an authorization from both A and B before it's submitted to the network. We call it a multisig. These are some common operations on the Stellar network. Let us now discuss them one by one. First is create account. When a user performs this operation on the ledger, it will create a new account on the Stellar network, either on the test network or the main network, depending on what the user chose. Another one is payment operation, for sending money, token, or assets. So, if a user wants to send some assets from his account to another account, he/she can utilize the payment operation performed on the ledger. Next is path payment. Asset transfer on Stellar takes place via payment, as we discussed earlier. So if a person has to send US dollar, but another person wants Russian ruble, then the conversion will take place via an offer, which will convert US dollars to ruble. But what if there was no direct offer present? For example, if you want to convert US dollars to Japanese yen, but there is no direct offer present. Let's assume that there is an offer which converts Russian ruble to Japanese yen. Since we already have an offer present, which will convert US dollar to Russian ruble, so the whole process will have different stages, where US dollars get converted into Russian ruble, then ruble gets converted into Japanese yen. That's how we will get our final result as yen. The operation in which we provide a path for payment is known as path payment. You can include multiple paths in this operation. Another operation is manage offer, and this operation is used to manage the offers in the Stellar network. If you want to create, update, or delete an operation, you have to use this operation. So, that was all about operations on Stellar network. Hope it helped to clear your concepts. Our next session will be on the use cases of Stellar. Thank you.